Hello, this is Darren.
And this is Paige.
And this is
Where's the Lemonade?
Where we talk about what happens when life throws you lemons.
Make some lemonade?
Maybe. Some weeks it's lemon squares.
Yeah, some weeks it's just lemons.
Yeah.
In today's episode,
We're going to talk about managing solvable and unsolvable problems. Not fixing.
not fixing them.
Okay, so this is another episode about the education week that you went to, which is a marriage and family relationship conference, I guess is the right way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this was done by, do you remember his name?
Scott Braithwaite.
And he talked about managing problems.
He did. It was a really good class. I know in blended families, I think we have an exacerbation of normal problems.
I think that's an understatement.
Would that be the right word to use?
Yes, that's a good word.
So, all marriages and all families have issues and problems they're dealing with, but in a blended family, they can be,
magnified.
And,
Well, I think one of the reasons why is because the children and the raising of the children is not actually being done by you and your wife or you and your spouse.
Yes.
It's being done by you and your spouse and your ex-spouse and their, new spouse.
Right. It's
so
tough.
There's 4 people involved.
Yeah, and the poor
confusing.
kids, right? The poor kids that are being yanked and pulled and, these rules over here and these rules over here. And
so
that's
there's
tough.
a whole new set of problems that occur in a blended family that you don't have in a normal nuclear family.
Right. And so he talked about, how we deal with problems and complaints in relationships. So he started off by saying that complaints aren't necessarily a bad thing to share, right? They are a bad thing because it's a complaint, but it's not necessarily a bad thing to share. And he talked about, how do you deal with them? How do you deal with complaints, right? Because we all have them. We all have complaints about each other. How do we deal with them? We wanted him to tell us how to deal with them, but he said that is something that each couple has to decide which complaints are important enough to bring up and to discuss.
So why bring them up at all?
Because the complaints can get bigger and bigger, right? One complaint leads to 2 complaints, leads to 3 complaints. And if you aren't addressing them, then all of a sudden you've got a boatload of complaints and you're resentful and you're right.
So you can't just say, just get over it. Just ignore the thing that's bothering you.
Now, there are sometimes, and I think some things, and that's what he said, not all complaints should or need to be shared. Right? Like there is a certain tolerance that we have to have for each other, right?
Thanks, honey. I'm glad I tolerate you.
But you know what I mean? Like
I'm going to put that on a green card.
I tolerate you.
I tolerate you.
Because I have to. We're married.
Because I have to. We're married. Yes, I love that.
We're going to make millions.
I understand what you mean by that. It is, we could all complain about lots of different things.
Right, we can nitpick about all these little things.
But that's not what he's talking about.
No, it's not. It's not. So he's just saying when there are certain things that are starting to really get inside your head that are bugging you so bad, maybe it's a complaint you need to share and
all right,
talk
let's
about.
give some examples of some complaints. We talked about my socks on the floor before.
Yes.
They're not there anymore. Isn't that amazing?
They're not, but I really never complained about that either.
No, you didn't. Well, no, you brought it up a couple times
but
in the past.
Yeah, almost in a joking way, because it really wasn't like something bothering me.
But that's your way of complaining.
It is, but it wasn't. It honestly wasn't something that was really bothering me. It was just like, I thought it was almost amusing that the socks were literally
but that problem's
a foot away from.
That problem's been managed.
You're the one that just brought it up.
I know.
So I'm just saying, it wasn't ever anything that it was really bugging me. It was just kind of funny. Like they're right there.
So that's a trivial problem.
Trivial that I didn't feel the need to bring up. But because we did it in a joking way, then you started picking them up.
But that could be a big problem for someone else.
Yeah.
It may lead to feelings of, well, if they really cared about me and all the hard work that I do around here, then they wouldn't leave their stuff on the floor.
Right.
Right. So it could lead to something big. But there are also big problems: money, sex, raising the kids, disciplining kids. All these things end up being big problems that could be very detrimental to your marriage if you can't figure out a way to manage them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In this class, you wrote it down as 4-step problem solving, but it's not problem solving.
No, it's managing problems, I guess is a better word, because he actually said don't try and solve every problem in the moment.
Wow, that's really hard for me.
It is, and it's hard for most men, right? It is. It's hard for most men. They just want, what's the problem? All right, let's fix it.
Let's go fix it. Yeah,
Yep.
Because I think that's in our nature is we
Right.
want to fix problems, especially me as an engineer. Holy cow, I just see problems and I can fix that.
Right.
I'll figure out how to make it work. But that's not what he wants us to do.
No, he wants us to figure out a way to constructively manage our problems and communicate effectively.
Right. So he had 4 steps to doing this.
Yep.
Discuss, set an agenda, brainstorm, and then agree.
Yes.
So we're going to go over each one of those steps. I was very curious when I first saw this. We just saw this yesterday. I did for the first time. Very interesting ideas here.
Yeah.
So the first one was, and something I know you love, which is use the speaker listening technique,
Yes,
aka
so
active listening.
In the discuss section, yes, he wants you to use the speaker listening technique, which
So let's practice, honey.
that could be a whole episode that I never want to do.
Let's practice right now. So what you're telling me
Is that I hate the speaker
is you
listener?
hate the speaker. You hate to listen. No.
No, I hate to feel
Patronized.
yes, or condescended to. You know what I mean? And I feel
All right,
like
so let's role play
Okay.
what most people think active listening is.
yes. So
I'm going to say something.
okay, say something.
I don't like it when you leave boxes in the backyard.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you don't like me leaving boxes in the backyard.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
See, how lame is that?
That is kind of lame.
It is. And that's just, to me, it's so patronizing. Like, yeah, that's what I just said. Duh. Like,
But instead of, you could have said, well, that's just too bad. I'm going to leave them back there or whatever.
the whole point of the speaker listening technique is that the person speaking feels heard and validated. That's the whole point.
Well, not only that they feel heard, but that you're actually listening instead of
Right.
coming up with what your response is going to be.
Right. Yes, that you're actively listening and that you're showing the other person that you are actively listening.
Well, and the whole idea around active listening is to figure out what they're feeling,
right.
From what they're saying to you, put yourself in their shoes
Right.
and figure it out. So he has actually, I think it's a cool formula. It is, I felt Z when you did X in situation Y.
Right.
So I know there's a lot of X and Z's and Y's. It sounds like a math formula. So let's put that one into practical.
Okay. So do you can
You want me to try one?
try the thing with the boxes.
No, I don't like the boxes one.
Don't do the boxes.
No, let's do the cooking. Oh, I like this one. Okay, so I felt displaced when you were in the kitchen cooking and didn't ask for my help.
Isn't that so silly?
That's so silly.
Which that's not the correct response, by the way. that you're
That is
supposed
not.
to.
But you know what? That happened to us. That happened to us last week.
Because Paige has been cooking every night.
She has, which has been wonderful. And
The heavens have opened. Light has shone
I felt
down.
kind of displaced because I've been normally doing the cooking for a while, and so I'm like, what can I do to help? And you said nothing, just relax. Oh, that just. I'm like,
How dare me tell my husband to go relax?
I know. Do I not have a purpose anymore? I felt displaced.
I always want your help in the kitchen, but I also don't want you. I didn't want you to feel like you had to help.
I know. So if I were to say that to you, I felt displaced when you were in the kitchen and didn't ask for my help. Well, how would you respond to that?
Well, I did. I said, "Well, that's silly." See, we have to work on this,
Yes,
right?
we have to work on this. So it's discussing what the problem is. But you can see, I could have said something like, "Why didn't you ask me to help you in the kitchen?"
Right. And yeah, then I've been like, well, I didn't know you wanted to help in the kitchen.
And then that would have
escalated. Oh, we learned
nice
that
word.
one.
We know that
Yeah,
word.
we know that word.
So in this way, I'm telling you how I felt, not accusing you, not doing anything like that. I'm just telling you, I really felt displaced when you didn't invite me in the kitchen to help out.
Right. So he actually had a little role play in his class, and it was someone that they were supposed to always put their keys on the hook.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently the one spouse frequently does not put the keys on the hook, and so the other spouse is always having to look for the keys that are supposed to be on the hook. So he showed us what not to say. So he showed, somebody walking in going, I can't find the keys. You never put the keys on the hook, and you always put them someplace else. I can never find them.
That sounds like a normal response that someone would have.
The other person was like, I can't believe you said that I always did that. Of course I don't always. It's this immediate, your back is up because someone is accusing you. So he said, turn to your, neighbors in our class, and he said, tell them what you would say. And so I told him what I would say.
Yes.
I go more of the joking route, and I said, I would have been like, oh, look, here I am. Here are the keys. Oh, look, there's my home, the hook. Oh, I love the hook. I love to be home. I said I'd probably do something like that.
Yeah, think that's not condescending. That's always fun when she does that to me.
Depending on what mood you're in, sometimes you might laugh.
And sometimes I might.
And you would say, got it, keys need to be on the hook. Or sometimes you'd be like, seriously? You couldn't have just,
You couldn't have just simply asked me.
Right. That's a very passive aggressive, silly. But that's kind of how I go for the laugh, or I go for the funny way, which is still condescending sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, it can be. So so how would we do the key thing then with his technique?
With his technique, it would be, I felt frustrated when you didn't put the keys on the hook, as we have, previously discussed that's where we would put them. It was something like that.
Oh, I'd change it up even more.
Of course you would.
Of course.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I felt frustrated when I couldn't find the keys.
Yeah.
Because they weren't on the hook.
Right.
That way I never said it was you.
Right. But he says that's okay.
It does he?
It's okay. Yes, because that's the whole point. I felt Z when you did X.
Okay.
Right?
All right. I
in
get
situation. Because he's saying, get to the root of the problem.
The root of the problem is you didn't put. All right. Instead of dancing around it, because I would have danced around it.
Right. You're dancing, and that means maybe it's going to come up again. But if you get to the root in a respectful, non-confrontational way.
Yeah. You can't say something like, I was frustrated when you stupid idiot didn't put the keys on the key hook.
That would be
How
bad.
dumb are you?
Exactly. That would be very bad.
That would be very bad.
And the other person would obviously feel hurt and mad and all of that. And so the discussion would not do great.
Okay. So I think that's, I like that, right?
Yeah.
Be direct, but say what you're feeling, right? So you're not getting your spouse, in a defensive position.
Right.
Saying.
And he says you're ready to move on when you both understand each other's point of view.
Not when the problem's solved.
Not when the problem is solved. When you can say, I can see how you're frustrated because I keep not leaving the keys on the hook. And the other person
because you have to keep looking for them,
right.
And it's wasting your time.
And the other person can say, I know it's difficult for you to remember because, maybe you're used to putting them over here, so you try and see each other's point of view in a respectful way, and then you can move on. You don't have to solve the problem right then, but at least see each other's point of view to be able to move on.
Okay, I like that.
Okay?
Then the next thing he said was set an agenda. So what does this mean? I mean, set an agenda for problem management?
Right. So set an agenda means it's what you're going to work on. You're going to take your problem and you're going to work on it. So, and he says it's important that it's a bite-sized piece on your agenda. So the agenda, if your problem with your spouse is money, like we're spending more money than we make every month and we are in debt and we are having serious problems, right? If that's the problem, you don't go, we need to sit down and talk about this. You go, let's talk about the maxed out visa. You choose one
So you
thing.
choose one of the situations in your bigger problem.
Because people are overwhelmed
Yeah, I can see
with
that.
this, oh my goodness, how are we going to solve this problem of always spending too much money? Always. So people get overwhelmed, so they don't want to discuss it, so then it's never discussed. So you choose a piece of the problem to discuss.
Right. I get it. So, like, we talked about this not too long ago, about a month or so ago,
Yeah.
when we said, you know what, we're spending too much money.
Right.
We both talked about it. And we decided, all right, so what are we going to do? And the thing we worked on then was we're going to go on an Amazon fast for
Right.
like 2 weeks.
Well, and I think what's really good about you and I, we never point fingers at each other and say, you're spending too much money. We've never done that in 8 years.
No, we haven't, which
haven't.
is amazing. Don't
So-
point at me like that.
Just like I just did.
Yeah, did you guys see that? She pointed at me.
So we don't ever do that. Even though that may be the case at the time,
But
somebody
it's a joint thing. I mean,
it's
we're
a
in this
joint thing.
together.
We're in it together. And so we always say, hey, let's look at our Amazon account, even though we both know I'm the one that uses the Amazon account most of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you did not say you're spending too much money on Amazon.
I said, no, let's look at it.
Yeah.
Let's look at it. And we went on like, what's it, 3 weeks?
Yeah, I don't think anything was delivered to our house for 3 weeks. In fact, you actually thought that I broke it because
Someone delivered something.
remember
here.
Rachel was having some things sent here.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, we got a package today. And it wasn't like, I can't believe you did that. You just go, hey, we got a package today. And I'm like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I wasn't even thinking about the fast when I brought that up. I said, we got a package today. That's
Yeah,
so
and
weird. We
and
haven't
then
got anything for 3 weeks.
And then you opened it and you're like, diapers?
Yeah, why do I have diapers? Are you trying to say something?
They weren't adult diapers.
No,
they
weren't.
They were
little
baby
kids.
diapers.
Oh, that's even scarier. Are you trying to say something, honey?
No, I'm
No.
definitely not saying that.
Please, no. Okay.
No.
All right, next thing. Number 3 is brainstorm.
Yes.
So when I think of brainstorming, I always think of work because we brainstorm ideas on new product lines or whatever it is.
Right.
So are you brainstorming new problems?
Oh, I certainly hope not. That would not be good.
So what's the brainstorming all about?
The brainstorming is write down all your good ideas. Don't write down your bad ideas. Even though I'm sure some of your good ideas, you will be told they were bad ideas.
Yes, I'm sure
But
some
write
of them
down-
might be.
Write down all of your good ideas and how to address the problem. So
Okay.
you take your situation, you take your issue, right? So let's go back to the keys for a second.
Okay.
The keys. How can we solve this problem? Let's just start.
Great idea. Electric shock when you walk in.
Electric shock. Yeah.
Don't have a key hook anymore. Not a problem.
Not a problem. Train the dog to attack the person that sets him not on the hook. So yeah, you just brainstorm all these.
Have a bowl where they set instead.
Right.
Lots of different ideas. Don't get stuck that it has to be the way that it currently is.
Right.
That it's this way or no
Right.
other way.
2 sets of keys. Your keys are here. My keys are there. So you never even have to worry about it. Right. These are whatever you write down.
Big, poofy, fluffy ball on them that we saw when we were in Japan. Do you remember those big?
Oh yeah. You mean like a keychain?
Yeah, like a keychain. Like
It's like massive.
You're never going to lose it, right?
So yeah, so you're supposed to just brainstorm ideas on how to address the problem. You're supposed to try and make all your suggestions positive, not
No
snarky,
snark,
no snark. And in terms of what you can do rather than what to stop doing.
Ooh, interesting.
So you're focusing totally on the positive and not the negative. So, since obviously having a key hook isn't working for you, right? Snarky, you're talking about so.
Well, that brings up a good point. If it were working, it wouldn't be a problem.
Exactly.
So just saying, well, just make it work.
Right.
That doesn't really fix anything. That doesn't resolve anything.
And it's not going to make either of you happy to just say that.
No. So you do have to come up with a different solution to manage that problem. So I like this. This is pretty
So
good.
when we thought of first doing a podcast back when we were vacationing in Panama, and we thought of doing a podcast, and we said
6 months, people.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
And we said, let's brainstorm ideas for our podcast. And we just sat there and
we had like 50 ideas.
yeah, we just started just saying things. And so that idea you can use for your problems as well, right? Just start yelling out solutions.
Anything out of the box. It doesn't really matter. I mean, every idea could be evaluated. Some will be better than others.
Well, and you can go over it later and go, okay, that's not really doable. That's not, and you just mark it off. But yeah, so that's what brainstorming is.
Okay, and then
No eye rolling.
What?
That's hard for me. I know.
Yes, I know.
The eye rolling. They automatically do it. I don't understand.
You are crazy. Okay. The last one is agree. So I like the. I just agree with you.
Agree. Done.
Done. Okay.
Done.
This is for all you men out there. Just agree with your wives.
Don't do that.
No.
That's patronizing.
That is patronizing.
However, it doesn't hurt to do it every once in a while. We're not going to turn it away.
No, what I liked about this was that once you brainstorm, then you agree on one of the things that you brainstormed together.
Yes, so that's what agree means. You pick one of your ideas that you brainstormed, and you together decide to experiment with that, and you also set a time frame with it.
Okay, so for example, with our shopping thing,
Yes.
let's have an Amazon fast for 2 weeks.
Right.
So that was a very doable thing.
It was very doable.
Because we were able to, drive to the grocery store instead of Amazon.
Such inconvenience.
And the grocery store we could actually walk to. It's not that far. It's less than a mile. But that's a whole nother story. So I like this because there's a time frame. You're trying this new solution out.
Right.
And then after that, you can evaluate and say, so wait, did that work?
Right.
Well, yeah, that worked.
Yeah, look at the millions of dollars we saved
Millions.
on Amazon.
Millions of
They actually called us and they were
Turkish
like,
lira. They were
Paige,
worried.
Paige, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you in a ditch somewhere?
They weren't going to meet their quarter. that quarter. They were very concerned.
But he also said, back to seriousness for a second. He said one of the reasons it's hard for couples to find a solution that sticks is that they try to find the perfect solution to the whole problem right now. And so I thought that was super interesting when he said that. So that's why you go to these bite-sized pieces, brainstorm, come up with an idea, try it out. Like you're just trying these little...
And if that one doesn't work, then try the next one on your list. Right. And, keep trying to figure out, I like this.
Yeah.
Small, concise, I can work with this.
Right.
Instead of it, hey, this is a huge problem that we have. How do you deal with it?
Is it a huge problem that I'm cooking every night now?
No, not at all.
But you're feeling displaced.
I still feel displaced. I do. I love being in the kitchen with you. So I'm going to help you with dinner tonight.
I was going to say, let's brainstorm, babe. No. What could we do? You could cook every night. It's just, we're throwing out ideas. Did you just roll your eyes at me?
No, I was looking at the camera. What should I do?
But no, actually, we talked about this, that you could say, hey, I'm going to be home on Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, so I'll either help you make dinner or I'll make dinner.
Or I'll make dinner, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because then I also don't feel resentful that I'm making dinner every freaking night because...
No, but the opposite's bad for you too. So when you say, hey, this is an issue, it could be that you're feeling guilty for not cooking.
That's totally what it is. You have never once made me feel guilty for not cooking. Never. It is all my own...
And it doesn't matter if I tell you, don't worry about it, I got it.
Right. It doesn't matter. I still feel guilty.
So we still need to talk about it and resolve that problem. So we're going to talk about how to do that next.
Exactly.
Okay, you can't do problem solving all the time, every time you're talking to each other. So you need to set aside time to do this.
That would be exhausting too.
Yeah.
It would be exhausting. Now, what you can do every time, though, once you get into your speaker listening technique, once you start learning how to say things to each other, right?
Yeah.
The first time, I think that you're not going to have as many issues, right?
Probably. But the issues, let's talk about how do I address the issues.
Right.
He had this great idea. It was a regular couples meeting.
Yes. Him and his wife have a weekly meeting. It's not your date night. It can't be your date night. Date night is solely for fun. It's not to discuss problems or money issues or anything. Date night is fun.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be expensive, but it has to be fun and just chill. Your couple meeting is when you go, he said they usually take 30 to 45 minutes. They usually they pick a night, I think it's like Thursday night. They go to Cafe Rio. The two of them, order something and they go over their list. They make a list through the week separately of things they want to discuss at their weekly meeting.
So why do they do it separately?
I think they do it separately. He was saying because if you put something on there that I didn't like, I may just delete that.
Yeah, you might. Unfounded, too emotional, right?
Shove those emotions down, Darren. I keep telling you. So yes, the one person might delete them, which that's so wrong.
It may be that I put something on the list in the heat of the moment, and I go, you know what? I was being a jerk then,
Right.
so I'm going to just remove that because it's really not a problem.
Exactly. Later in the week, he's like, that's not even worth our time to discuss.
So we keep a separate list.
Yep.
We show up to this meeting, 30 to 45 minutes, so it's time boxed. And then we go down our list and
and you may get to all of them, you may not. You may get stuck on one. That's okay.
But that's okay. You're done after 30 minutes.
Right.
Okay. I like that.
So I don't know. What do you think? I think it's kind of a good idea to.
It's something we haven't tried yet. We need to do.
We haven't tried.
All right. So this is what we're going to try this week. And all of you listeners out there, you can call us on the carpet on that one. Send your comments to it. Ask us. We'll report back in the next podcast whether we do this. Now, another part of this meeting.
I know you.
What?
You're gonna hack into my phone. You're gonna look at my list because you have to know. You won't change my list, but you just want to know what I'm going to talk about.
How am I going to hack into your list? You won't even put it on the computer. You're going to write it on the back of a napkin or something.
True. But that is you. You want to know.
Yes, I would want to know up front so I could be prepared.
When we used to go to marriage counseling, on the way there, you would go, so what are you going to bring up today?
Yeah, what are we talking about today? And we resolved our problems before we even got to counseling.
A lot of times we did.
Yeah. Well.
Glad we paid $150 to.
Yeah, that was well worth it.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny.
That was funny. So there's another thing that he said. It's about expectations.
Yes. So you have to share your expectations with each other. And expectations actually can be a big problem in marriage. He had this little formula that he said, expectations are a problem when they're unaware, unreasonable, unspoken, and unwilling.
Okay. Explain.
Okay. So then he said, there's expectations versus reality. If your reality is less than expectations, then your reality is disappointment.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
Right?
Right.
So meaning you're expecting a lot more than you're getting.
I'm expecting a lot more when I'm getting, but have I said anything about that?
Exactly. So he said we have to adjust our expectations. We can't just be, I want you to be up here.
You should be in heels and with pearls on, every night with dinner ready and the kids all cleaned and sitting at the dinner table when I get home.
That goes to the number 2, unreasonable.
Unreasonable. June Cleaver can do it.
And unwilling, me.
Okay, maybe we'll just watch Leave It to Beaver instead of Leave It to Beaver.
But no, he talked about how
I like that.
If you're unaware of your own expectation, first of all, you have to look at yourself, right? Like the expectation right now of me making dinner every night, that's not an expectation you have of me. That's an expectation I put on myself.
Yep, it is.
And when I don't meet that expectation, the only one disappointed is me, not you.
But so you need to express that expectation with me.
Right.
It's an expectation you have on yourself. It's
Right.
not an expectation you have on me
No.
or that I have on you.
No.
So expectations can go in several
They
different
go,
ways.
yes, they can go sideways, up and down. Yeah.
So I think this is good because most people, when you hear of expectations, it's, I have all these expectations of my wife.
Right.
Or you say, well, I have all these expectations of my husband.
Right. And sometimes there are our own expectations on ourselves that are causing problems.
Right. So if we bring these out
Yep.
in these couples meetings, it could be something on our list.
Right.
Right. Then we can address it as an expectation mismatch.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But you got to be careful of expectations because if you're going to throw something out there, I'm expecting this of you, you got to be okay with something coming right back at you that you go, oh, well, you know what I mean? You've got to.
Yeah, but I think you should be open to a point. I mean, if something's really bothering you, then understanding the difference between expectations and reality, maybe your spouse doesn't even know.
Exactly. But I'm just saying you've got to be okay with if you're going to share your complaints, right, expectations of your spouse partner, you've got to be okay with it coming back. You have to be okay.
Absolutely.
And that's
I think
part
you're
of
right.
this whole thing is we've got to be okay with sharing, listening, communicating. And all of this boils down to being respectful, right, in your conversations with each other. And that's what he said. We failed to mention that safety in a relationship is the key. Meaning, I feel like I can talk to you about something very serious or something that's really bothering me, and you're not going to mock me or yell at me, that it's a safe place to do it. He said that is so key in a relationship.
Right. So you have to make sure that you're building up that relationship, that safety muscle with with your spouse.
And we're all going to fail.
We're
all going to fail.
We had a rough week last week.
We did.
This,
we
right?
had a rough week.
I was being grumpy. I didn't say anything about it. You didn't feel safe to say what's going on. So that was a major fail for us last week. But
it was.
We figured it out.
We finally talked about it. After we did talk about it, it actually got
like, that was stupid.
I
Why
know.
did we do that?
It was like it got better and things figured. But yeah, and once again, people, we are not experts. We are sharing these things because we're in it with you. We are right in the trenches with everyone, trying to figure out how to make our marriages better, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's what we want, and our families better. By the way, happy anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
We just celebrated our 8th anniversary.
Yep. Yesterday, 2 days ago.
8 years of bliss. Are you cutting that out?
I'm not cutting that out. 8 years of growth, honey. Growth, honey. Lots of growth. All right, for our lemonade moment of the week, we're still trying to find the lemonade. We just have a bunch of lemons. In the name of Heidi,
Our dog.
our little Pouchon,
She's half poodle, half Bichon. So
which means she's smart and ornery.
and hypoallergenic. She had to be hypoallergenic.
Yeah, we'll talk about the dog.
She's looking at me
another
right
time.
now. She knows I'm talking about her.
Yeah, she does. So the reason she's a lemon is
Yes.
because little dogs sometimes have a hard time remembering what potty training is. Not that they don't remember. I think she's just conniving and evil.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because she never pees on the carpets when we're around. But
We have never seen her pee in the house, ever.
no, and when we leave, she's kennelled every time.
Yes. So she's Houdini, or she's got some friends coming in,
Now, maybe
I
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, we've got the doggy door.
We
Maybe
have the
she's
doggy
got...
door. Maybe someone's coming in at night and peeing all over our carpet.
Well,
doubt it.
I actually would rather think
So-
that Heidi's doing it.
Yeah, me too. So, in a flurry of excitement last week, Paige got so sick and tired of the pee smell in the house, and we've tried charcoal and baking soda.
Oh my gosh,
and-
we've cleaned the carpets 100 times.
yeah, it's just,
And I literally went, we're pulling the carpets up today. And you were like,
what are we putting down after?
and I'm like, I don't care. I want them gone. I want them out.
So
we did. We pulled them
We
out.
pulled the carpets out of the downstairs of the house, and
one room is still concrete.
yeah, one room has concrete. The other room, we put down not new carpet again, but carpet squares.
Carpet squares. It's a little white trash, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, so if one square gets peed on, it gets washed, a new square gets put in its place, and the other one gets set out to dry. So,
Or we just toss it.
or we toss it if it's really bad.
So, yes.
We have no lemonade from this yet.
We don't. And we didn't want to do anything permanent yet, like put tile or wood, because we want to redo the whole downstairs, but we're not ready to do that quite yet. So we
not
wanted a temporary fix to our incontinent dog.
She's not incontinent.
I don't know what she is.
She's evil. She gets back at us.
I'm telling you, we've never once seen her go to the bathroom, but when we pulled up that carpet, we were like, holy moly, dog.
I think it's a squirrel or a raccoon coming.
Well,
in
we
our
could
bathroom.
have the pee tested to see what.
No, I'm not going to do that. I may put a camera up, though, and make sure nothing's coming in there at night.
Wow, you're giving Heidi the benefit of the doubt completely that you think it's not her doing
I know
this.
it's her.
So yeah,
I see you over there, Heidi.
we're still looking for the lemonade.
Still looking.
you like today's episode,
Give us 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, Google.
and head to Facebook and like us,
And check out our blog at where'sthelemonade.org.
where you can leave questions and comments.
But most of all,
Go out and make some lemonade.
you betcha, baby. On next week's episode,
We're going to talk about middle school age children, so 12 to 14, in a blended family, how we deal with it.
sounds good. Scary.
It is scary.